Hello, my name is Ashley Sellers, and I am a speech language pathologist, and I'm the owner and operator of Speech, Language, and Beyond. Speech, Language, and Beyond is a small residential pediatric private practice in speech therapy that serves the Albany, Georgia area. We offer services, clinical services here at the facility. And at this time, I work with children that are 3 years to 18 years of age who are having difficulty in their communication skills in the areas of articulation, language, fluency, oral motor, voice, or auditory processing. I also provide early intervention services to children within the Dougherty County area and surrounding counties. And also I provide online speech therapy services to homeschool students in the state of Georgia. And today, what I'm going to talk about is some very useful materials that I have available on my website, which is www.speechlanguageandbeyond.com. And if you will click on the Speech Therapy Sheets tab, you will find a variety of receptive language, expressive language, fluency, articulation, and a combination of articulation and language activities that are listed on this particular part of the site. And what you will notice is that there are some that are totally free. Every book has a free sample that's about 3 to 6 pages long, and sometimes it's a little bit longer depending on the activity. And in order to get the entire set for some, then there's a small price that I'm asking people to pay if they want to take full advantage of those opportunities. And also, you will also notice our early intervention page, and this is very useful for any other school speech language pathologist, any early intervention speech therapist, graduate clinicians, and even parents. And on this sheet, on this particular page, all the materials here are free. You will find book downloads, you will find picture cards, articles that are very useful, and also we have the online speech therapy page, and this provides an array of free activities as well, such as a spinner, an articulation spinner, a sticker chart, a speech responsibility sheet, a speech progress chart, and the video that I'm doing today, which is a speech tutorial. So let's get into that. The speech tutorial that we're going to do today covers materials for articulation. And just to get into the gist, articulation is, for those who don't know, it is the way that we produce our sounds. And this is important because there are a lot of children that are having difficulty producing sounds, which makes their speech sounds funny. It makes it sound unintelligible, and they're just having difficulty knowing what it takes to produce these sounds. So we're going to start with the isolation level and with the syllable level today, and the activities that are available on the website that you can take advantage of. So some of those materials, I'm going to tell you what they are really quick, and then we're going to go through each one. Okay, the first one is called the mouth menu. So I'm holding it up to the camera now, and if you will notice, there are squares here at the top, and there are the articulators here at the bottom. And you can choose to cut this out, and if you choose to cut it out, it's going to look like this. And this is a very useful, tool that parents, speech therapists, teachers can use to help children key in on what part of our mouth do we use to make a sound. And we call these our articulators. You will notice there's a picture of the lips, the tongue, the nose, the jaw, and the teeth. All of these are on here, and those are basically what we use to make our sounds. And what's also paired with this is a list of the consonant sounds. Okay, it looks like this, and it all comes on the website. If you will go find mouth menu, it can be downloaded for free. You will find a copy of the consonant sounds, and you will see the mouth menu page that's attached. When you cut it out, laminate it, and put it in like this, this is what it's going to look like. And when you cut these out and put the Velcro buttons on the top, I just put mine in a baggie just like this. Okay, another thing that we're going to talk about today are the sound isolation sheets. These are very important when the child is on the isolation level, meaning that they're saying the sound by itself. It gives them a description of the sound. It gives them a way to watch the clinician's mouth to know how the sound is made. They get the visual stimulation of seeing what it looks like. They get the tactile stimulation by being able to point and say the sound at the same time. First, the clinician or the parent, whoever is working with the student, they're going to review that sound, point to it while the child listens. Then they will have an opportunity to imitate, and then they're going to participate in what we call auditory bombardment. That is when you have the child listen to you saying the sound. They don't repeat. They don't feel pressured to repeat. They're not asked to imitate. They're just listening to that sound in different positions of words, so they will know how they need to form their articulators for this sound to be made. And when you get to that particular part of the activity, you're going to notice that there is a coloring sheet available for the students to use. It has the letter in black and white, and while they're listening to the sound, they get extra stimulation by being able to look at the sound, to color it in, and to visualize and listen to how this sound is made. So we will go over that in more depth in detail. Okay? And then we will also work with what we call the syllable chart. And then you will notice it has all of the vowel sounds that are listed here in the middle, and it has a place for you to put your consonant sound. Which, notice I have this one here. It's Velcroed, and we'll take it off, and it looks just like this. And this can also be found on the website. It's called the Syllable Chart. It can be downloaded completely free, and it also comes with the page of the consonant sounds that can be cut out and laminated and placed in a bag. Okay. So let's start with these two activities first. So I'm going to show you in a typical speech therapy session, or if you're at home working with your student by yourself, how this would be used. Okay, so the sound that we're going to concentrate on today is the P sound. Okay, this is the sound that we're going to concentrate on today, and we're going to start with the isolation level. And with this one, you're just showing them how the sound is formed. That is what we're doing. Okay, so we will take out our mouth menu, and we're going to say, okay, I am going to show you how the P sound is made. I want you to take all of the pictures of the articulators off of your mouth menu and place them in front of you, which is what we're going to do right now. Place them in front of you. And as I make the P sound, what you're going to take it and you're going to Velcro it here at the top. That's what your student would do. Velcro it at the top. And as you make the P sound, you're going to tell them, I watch my mouth, and then I want you to pick up the articulator, the picture of the articulator that I'm using to make this sound. So while you're doing that, the student should pick up the picture of the lips, because that is what they're using to make this sound, and they're going to place it here, because that's what they're using to make the sound. And if they don't choose the correct one, you take that opportunity to make the sound again, to have them look and allow for them to make the right choice. And this is called a mouth menu. And this is so useful because even if you're just working on the sound in isolation and you're doing drill work, where you're getting them to just really drill in on knowing how to make this sound, this is so useful because the student can take this and put it right in front of them. And if they make a mistake, if they're not understanding, if they're not getting it, and that sound is just not coming, you can always tell them to refer back to their mouth menu to think about what part of our mouth we're using to make the sound. So this is very important, and throughout your activity, whether they're on the word level or whatever, this can always be in front of them to be used as their reminder of what they use to make this sound. So we will put this over to the side, and that is how you use that. Okay, if you want to continue working further on this sound in isolation, that's when you would work with the sound isolation sheet. And I love this so much because it provides the child with so much information on how the sound is made. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to read it to you. Okay, it says the target phoneme is the P sound. So you say, okay, we're talking about making the P sound. We use the top and bottom part of our lips, which you will point to your top and your bottom lip, and also tell them to refer back to their mouth menu because we've just talked about that. We press our lips together to make this sound. It should sound like popping popcorn. Okay, and then you're going to imitate that sound for them about 5 times. Okay, and then step 1 says, watch the speech therapist's mouth as she says each sound. Look at the shape of her mouth and try to imitate the sound. So we will do it again. And then you will ask the child to try. You're going to say, let's try to make the P sound 5 times. And as they're making the sound, you're counting off. Okay, then step 2 is you're going to bring in that visual stimulation and the tactile stimulation by having them point to the row of the P's that are written in isolation as they say them. So you would lay the sheet in front of them, the child would be sitting next to you, and you're going to point and say the sound. So if you would notice, I'm not good at this whole camera thing because everything is backwards, but as you can notice, there's a row of P's here, and I'm going to lay it down on the table, and you're going to point. You're going to do that, and then step 3 is the same thing, but only this time the child is doing it. Okay, this time the child is doing it. And then step 4, it says listen only while the speech therapist says each sound in the initial, medial, and final positions. So listed at the bottom, there are about 6 words for each sound, each position in the word that the sound can appear in. So you're going to have this in front of you, and that's when the child is going to break out this page, which is the coloring sheet of the sound P or the letter P, and they're going to color this sheet while they're listening to you say these sounds, and you may need to repeat each row of words twice. Okay, so far what we've discussed is doing the sound in isolation. You're first going to start with telling them what articulators we use to make the sound by using the mouth menu and allowing them to choose the correct articulator that we use to make the sound. Then if you want to go into that a little bit further, you're going to go into the sound isolation sheets, which they still get another description of the sound. They get to watch your mouth while you make it. They get to point and say the sound at the same time while getting the tactile, auditory, and visual stimulation by saying the sound, watching you point to it and say it, and they repeat it. And then they get the auditory bombardment where they break out the coloring sheet. They color while you say the sound. And this is all covering isolation. And you can do this as many times as you need to in order for the child to know how to make the sound. Okay? So once you feel comfortable that they're able to do that, that's when you're going to go to your syllable chart, and we're going to pair that consonant sound with a vowel. And if you will notice on this sheet, you're going to do the syllable chart. Do the syllables at the beginning of the word, and you can also do it at the end of the word. You have these Velcro things that are here that you can use to pull the sound out of your baggie, whichever one that you're working on, which today we're doing P. And the first way we're going to practice doing these syllables is by doing them segmented or broken apart. You're not going to blend them. You're going to do the consonant sound alone and the vowel sound alone so that the child gets a very good picture or auditory stimulation of how the sound is made before they have to produce it themselves. Okay, so this is how it will happen. We're going to start with the P sound at the beginning of the word. P, A, P, E, P, I, P, O, P, ooh. And once you do that, you're imitating, and you're going to get them to point and to do the same thing. And if you would notice, I use the long vowel sounds just because I feel like those are a little bit easier for students to be able to do. Once they're able to do it in the broken version, or to do it when it's segmented, then you're going to go back and you're going to blend those sounds together, because that's how they're going to have to say it in their words. So it'll be pay, pee, pie, po, poo. And what I love about this is because they get so many forms of stimulation. They get to take the letter, put it on, they're using their fingers, they're pointing, and that is so important because it allows for them to think about what they're doing, to get their articulators ready, and it allows them to pace the speed at which they're saying their sounds. And you're going to do that level and do it in the initial position until they're ready to move on to another position of syllables. And you can just take it and do it on the end, like so. So then you're going to do the same thing, and it's going to be segmented. A, P, E, P, I, P, O, P. Sorry, you guys, I'm gotta get used to this. Ooh, P. Okay, and you do it segmented, then they go back and blend. A, P, E, P, I, P, O, P, ooh, P. And that's going to be very useful for them. So already in this video, we've covered isolation and we've covered syllables. And you can take the same method and you can do it for any consonant sound that your child needs to work on. So I hope that this helps. And if you have any questions, just feel free to email me at speech.therapy@speechlanguageandbeyond.com. And for my online parents, if you have any questions, you can email me at online.speech.therapy@speechlanguageandbeyond.com. I hope that you find these materials very useful. I thank you for your time, and I ask you also to continue to work with me because I'm very new at this video thing, but I just wanted to show parents how useful these materials can be and to really give you an opportunity to be able to work with your students more at home so that they can get the carryover, because it's very important to remember that your child can be in their sessions all day long getting all of the techniques that they need, but if they are not worked on in the setting, in their home setting, and they're not getting the practice outside of the speech therapy classroom or online classroom, then they're not going to have that rate of success that you want them to have. So if you take advantage of these videos, take advantage of the materials that are available and use them in your spare time, your children will soon start to make as much progress as you need them to make. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.